Let's talk about anger. Lots of anger out there inside here. I've had to touch my own life. Yeah, anger is so powerful. It's a very powerful passion. It leads to war, it leads to murder, it leads to horrible things. Uh, it breaks up families, it makes people distrusting. The church fathers talked about it as temporary insanity, and it is temporary, thankfully, but it can consume our life. So, what does anger look like when it comes in the form of logisme? Well, it's an assaultive thought that doesn't just immediately say, hey, be angry at your wife. It's more like a little thought that tries to squeeze through the door to get the foot in, saying, she could do a better job in housekeeping. Or, is she working as hard as you're working? She could listen to you a little bit better. In fact, she could do this, she could do that. Why does she do that? It's just focused on criticism, criticalness, judgmentalism. In fact, it could be anybody. It boils down to, I want what I want and I'm not getting it. And that leads to self-pity, where I'm a victim of circumstance. Why is this happening to me? It might lead to control. I'm going to try to change the person by trying to get them to change. So I wave my magic wand and they're supposed to succumb to my power again. This is totally insane, and that I'm totally forgetting that God is the Lord of the universe, not Eric. And that the universal remote control, I hate to tell you this, doesn't even work universally, even remotely. It's kind of a joke I got off the internet, but it's fun. Yeah, it's a picture of the universal remote control, and it says, sorry to tell you that the universal remote does not work universally, even remotely. And this is true. It's really hard for us to understand that we're not in control. If you start to think about it, we're on a ball called Earth spinning around. And it's in a solar system, in a galaxy, and just one of many galaxies, and we're infinitesimally small compared to other things. Yet God still loves us, and we're even tilting back and forth, which relate to seasons. And so when I'm standing on firm ground, I think it's even firm ground. But no. So I'm at the best place when I'm surrendered, when I'm surrendering to God and His will for my life, not my own. And that's usually what would keep me free from anger. But when I start to let thoughts in the door, things that seem unfair, then I am in trouble. The interaction, if I just noticed, oh, this is just temptation to be, this is where it's always going to lead, I'm going to end up with an anger problem, then I would just click, not even let the person in the door. But no, if I start interacting with it, with all those extra thoughts, now, when am I sinning here? For me, if I start thinking those thoughts and starting to get them in my heart that I've already sinned, certainly that sin is not as bad as sinning in my mouth, my speech, or in behavior, God forbid. But it's important to understand that God provides a way of escape, and we can escape these things by His grace by just totally, first of all, acknowledging this is the beginning of it. I heard a person say, and this really makes a lot of sense. This comes from Saint Seraphim of Sarov. He was a 19th century saint in Russia. Incredible person. You can look him up on the internet. He said that silence is the cross upon which we must crucify our ego. So silence, or absolute silence, is the cross upon which we must crucify our ego. So ego stands for edging God out. It's always what Eric wants, this inflated sense of Eric, which is a result of the fall. And if I'm just quiet, just keep my mouth shut, that would be similar to just ignoring the thoughts, not even saying anything, just let it go. Let God handle it. If I'm supposed to have injustices towards me, if the house is not supposed to be clean, whatever, is to trust that God's guiding my life, hopefully not me. And if I guide it, then I'm going to be mad when I don't get my way. It's very infantile, and it just leads to all kinds of health problems, back problems, heart conditions, the type A personality. We get mad when the traffic isn't going the right way. We get mad when there's an extra fee that company put in their is there any use for anger? The church fathers tell us to be angry at sin. To redirect it back towards our repentance is probably the best thing we can do. But it says that the anger of man does not achieve the righteousness of God. So just taking the energy and the diligence that we can get from anger to say, I just want God more than anything else. I want peace. We're only going to find peace when we are surrendered to God. So being diligent to keep this at bay. Let's talk a little bit about those who are actually struggling with behaviors, that there is violence, there is pushing, there's shoving, there's controlling of each other. It's scary, and I work with domestic violence. Get some help. Just getting the tools, bypass the whole shame trip, which is just going to block you. Just go get some help, learn the tools, understand the source of your anger, and you can be free. I see families heal every day from this. It's really important to though get the help. Why? Because it's grown so big that all we have to do is walk back into our family, and it just redoes itself. It's a dance, and it often takes a professional. Sometimes it takes legal help, like legal separation. Sometimes you have to be outside the house to break this passion. But little by little, we start here, but really we're starting here. We just try not to do anything physical. We don't call names anymore. And that's usually where it starts. Yes, we're always going to have this up here, but eventually the name calling goes away, the plate throwing goes away, the bruises go, and we just focus on safety. It's the church fathers tell us that the opposite virtue of anger is mildness. Praying for a mild response is really powerful. Mild responses. The Proverbs tell us in Proverbs 15 that a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And it's taken me a long time to begin to understand some of this, but a soft answer is what we're looking for. A soft-spoken, a mild answer to life, if that at all. If we have to speak, perhaps we should only speak softly and gently, and better maybe to not even speak at all unless someone's asking us for advice. It says that a gentle answer is the tree of life. This is a few verses down there. But a perverse tongue breaks the spirit. Let's see, it's right here. A gentle tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. How many of our words have broken other people's spirits? In fact, how many of the words that come at us through logisme cause us to be broken? And through our brokenness we can find God, so that's a good thing. But the trouble is that we are broken in the wrong way. We are tempted through evil logisme that tells us we are no good, there is no hope, why try? Yeah, on another section of this we're going to talk about the despondency, the depressive logisme that assault us, that tell us that there's no hope for us, that we're confessing the same things over and over, why try? To give up hope, leading to despair. And it's really important to just shut the door on that and not listen to it. Just to pray and just keep marching ahead one day at a time.